It's a little hard for me to get worked up about the Ukraine. I don't think about the Ukraine on a normal basis. I think the last time I heard about the Ukraine, they were giving money to Hunter Biden. And I'm a little more worried about things closer to home. I think my own personal security, and probably yours, is far more endangered by Merrick Garland and the Biden administration than it is by Vladimir Putin. I don't think it's Vladimir Putin who's going to come to our house, send helicopters to arrest us, put us into solitary confinement, all for being domestic terrorists. No, that's not Putin. That's our guy. And I'm kind of watching with a sense of, just curiosity and disgust the way that Biden is responding to the Ukraine. Here's a small clip that gives you a sense of what kind of leadership we have at the helm. Listen.
Yesterday, the world heard clearly the full extent of Vladimir Putin's twisted rewrite of history, going back more than a century, as he waxed eloquently.
Who writes this stuff? Who says this kind of stuff? This is just, this, to me, think of the scenario. The West is currently led by one bumbling dotard, that's this guy, Biden, one laughing hyena, that's Harris, and a handful of metrosexual adolescents, Trudeau, Macron. Putin must feel very confident going up against this goofball brigade. Now, what is Putin after here? Well, he's after the Ukraine. And I don't think he's going to need an invasion to pull it off. It's funny how we're getting all these war drums. Oh, we need to care about the Ukraine. We need to mobilize troops, and we need to get the Western alliance all ginned up, and we need to impose sanctions. Why does Putin care about sanctions? We had the opportunity to have a sanction. It was the Nord Stream pipeline too, but no, Biden cancels the American pipeline, okays the Nord Stream pipeline. Now the Germans go, well, we're not going to do the Nord Stream pipeline anymore. Well, why do you decide to do it in the first place? So here you've got this feckless group of people, and I think Putin is sitting back and saying, listen, I can accomplish my goal of dominating the Ukraine just by putting those troops on the border. I don't even have to invade. It's just the mere menace of having them there. It's going to get this Biden guy to start scrambling and calling for a summit, and let's have a discussion, let's have a negotiation. And you know what? I can sort of predict how that negotiation is going to come out. Basically, Putin says, listen, I'm not going to invade the Ukraine, but I merely want to control it. I want to essentially supervise the Ukraine. I want to have de facto control, even though I don't have de jure control. I want parties in the Ukraine that are pro-Russian. And Biden's going to go, okay. Why? Because there's nothing he can do about it. Let's remember, Russia is a nuclear-tipped power. This whole idea that, we can swat him down. No, we can't swat him down. We're not going to go to World War III over the Ukraine. And so Putin's calculation, I think, is that Biden will come out of some sort of summit and declare victory, but it'll be obviously a hollow victory. Of course, you'll have people like Brian Stelter on CNN and others. Oh, Biden, negotiated his way. This is a spectacular achievement by America. We've kept Putin out of the Ukraine. But no, in reality, Putin will have achieved his objective. He's going to be the one having the last grin or the last laugh. And then we're getting all this kind of wag the doggery, I'm going to call it, here in America. Biden says things like, we better get ready for gas prices to go up a little bit because, gas prices were going up long before the Ukraine. Here's a headline in CBS News. The U.S. economy has been hit with increased gas prices, inflation, and supply chain issues due to the Ukraine crisis. This is a headline with a straight face, even though all these things were happening prior to the Ukraine, but now they're being blamed on the Ukraine. So what's happening here is the Ukraine is a big distraction. It's a distraction from the failure upon failure upon failure of the Biden administration. Now you're saying, well, maybe the Ukraine will end up a failure as well, as I think it will. But in the meantime, you can use that failure to distract from the other existing failures that are right in front of our eyes. So we've got a disastrous administration. They kept saying, Trump is in bed with Russia. I think most of us realize deep down that if Trump were in office, this would not be happening. And why? Because if you think about Putin and you think about his psychology, he's basically a man's man. He's basically a macho guy. He's basically a bully who understands the language of force. And when you see Trump, you got somebody of equal stature, somebody who's, in a way, a little bit of a bully himself, somebody who's going to say, hey, I'm not going to let you get away with that. No way, that's not happening. And Biden is just incapable of doing that. Biden can do a lot of bluster when he's here at home, when he's, talking in front of an adoring media. I'll show Putin's what's what. I'll teach him a lesson. I'll take him behind the gym. But now that Biden actually has to deal with Putin, we're seeing what a pathetic, bumbling guy he is. And so we have a moment of real vulnerability in the Ukraine, and we're dealing with a resourceful and cunning opponent. And the best that our administration can do, and this has nothing to do with foreign policy at all, is try to create a domestic policy diversion, is try to go full scale wag the dog.